Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1. Deuteronomy 16 and 1. Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter and the first verse. Passover. Remember, in the month of Abib, you must celebrate Passover to honor the Lord your God. It was that night in Abib when the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt. You must go to the place the Lord your God will choose to be the home for his name. There you must offer the Passover sacrifice to honor the Lord. You must offer the cattle and goats. Don't eat bread that has yeast in it with this sacrifice. You must eat unleavened bread for 7 days. This bread is called bread of trouble. It will help you remember the troubles you had in Egypt. Remember how quickly you had to leave that country? You must remember that day as long as you live. There must be no yeast in anyone's house anywhere in the country for 7 days, and all the meat you sacrifice on the evening of the first day must be eaten before morning. You must not sacrifice the Passover animal in any of the towns that the Lord your God gives you. You must sacrifice the Passover animal only at the place that the Lord your God will choose to be the home for his name. There you must sacrifice the Passover animal in the evening when the sun goes down. This is the festival when you remember that God brought you out of Egypt. You must cook the meal and eat it at the place that the Lord your God will choose. The next morning you may go back home. You must eat unleavened bread 6 days. On the 7th day, you must not do any work. On this day, the people will come together for a special meeting to honor the Lord your God. Festival of Harvest. You must count 7 weeks from the time you begin to harvest the grain. Then celebrate the Festival of Harvest for the Lord your God. Do this by bringing him some special gift you want to bring. Decide how much to give by thinking about how much the Lord your God has blessed you. Go to the place the Lord will choose to be home for his name. You and your people should enjoy yourselves together there with the Lord your God. Take all your people with you, your sons, your daughters, and all your servants, and take the Levites, foreigners, orphans, and widows living in your towns. Remember, you were slaves in Egypt, so be sure to obey these laws. Festival of Shelters. 7 days after you've gathered your harvest in from your threshing floor and from your winepress, you should celebrate the Festival of Shelters. Enjoy yourselves at this festival, you, your sons, your daughters, all your servants, and the Levites, foreigners, orphans, and widows living in your towns. Celebrate this festival for 7 days at the special place the Lord will choose. Do this to honor the Lord your God. The Lord your God blessed your harvest and all your work you did, so be very happy. 3 times a year, all your men must come to meet with the Lord your God at the special place he will choose. They must come for the festival of unleavened bread, the festival of harvest, and the festival of shelters. Everyone who comes to meet with the Lord must bring a gift. Each man should give as much as he can. He should decide how much to give by thinking about how much the Lord has given him. Judges and officers for the people. Choose men to be judges and officers in every town that the Lord your God gives you. Every tribe must do this. And these men must be fair in judging the people. You must always be fair. You must not favor some people over other people. You must not take money to change your mind in judgment. Money blinds the eyes of wise people and changes what a good person will say. Goodness and fairness. You must try very hard to be good and fair all the time. Then you will live and keep the land that the Lord your God has given you. When you set up an altar for the Lord your God, you must not place beside the altar any of the wooden poles that honor the goddess Asherah. You must not set up special stones for worshiping false gods. The Lord your God hates them. Deuteronomy 17, use only good animals for sacrifice. You must not sacrifice to the Lord your God an ox or sheep that has anything wrong with it. The Lord your God would hate that. Punishment for worshiping idols. You may hear about an evil thing that happens in one of the cities that the Lord your God is giving you. You might hear that a man or woman in your group has sinned against the Lord your God. You might hear that they have broken his agreement or that they worship other gods or maybe the sun, the moon, or the stars. I never told you to do that. If you hear bad news like this, you must check it out carefully. You must learn if it's true that this terrible thing has really happened in Israel. If you prove that it's true, you must punish the person who did this evil thing. You must take that man or woman out to a public place near the city gates and kill them with stones. But no one should be punished with death if only one witness says that person did that evil thing. But if 2 or 3 witnesses say it's true, the person must be killed. But what if all 3 of them are lying? The witnesses must throw the stones first to kill that person. Then the other people should throw stones to finish killing that person. In this way, you remove this evil from your group. That's not fair because those 3 could be lying. Difficult court decisions. There might be some problems that are too hard for the courts to judge. It might be a murder case or an argument between 2 people, or it might be a fight in which someone was hurt. When these cases are argued in your towns, your judges there might not be able to decide what is right. Then you must go to the special place that the Lord your God will choose. Place. You must go to the priests who are Levites and to the judge on duty at that time. They will decide what to do about that problem. They're at the Lord's special place. They will tell your decision. You must do whatever they say. Be sure to do everything they tell you to do. You must accept their decision and follow their instructions exactly. Don't change anything. You must punish anyone who refuses to obey the judge or the priest or who is there at that time serving the Lord your God. That person must die. You must remove this evil person from Israel. All the people will hear about this punishment and be afraid, then they will not be stubborn anymore. How to choose a king. You will enter the land that the Lord your God has given you. You will take that land and live in it. Then you will say, we will put a king over us like all the nations around us. That sounds familiar. When that happens, you must be sure to choose the king that the Lord your God chooses. The king over you must be the one of your own people. You must not make a foreigner your king. The king must not get more and more horses for himself. He must not send people to Egypt to get more horses because the Lord has told you. You must never go back that way. Also, the king, now that's strange because the son of God went to Egypt. Out of Egypt, I call my son. Also, the king must not have too many wives because that will make him turn away from the Lord, Solomon. And he must not make himself rich with silver and gold, Solomon. When the king begins to rule, he must write a copy of the law for himself in a book. He must make that copy from the books that the priests and the tribe of Levi keep. He must keep that book with him and read from it all his life because he must learn to respect the Lord his God. He must learn to completely obey everything the law commands. Then the king will not think that he is better than any of his own people. He will not turn away from the law, but he will follow it exactly. Then he and his descendants will rule the kingdom of Israel a long time. Deuteronomy 18, supporting the priests and Levites. The tribe of Levi will not get any share in the land. The priests come from that tribe and they will eat the special sacrifices that are offered as gifts to the Lord. That is a share for the people from the tribe of Levi. The tribe of Levi will not get any share of land that like the other tribes. Their share is the Lord himself, as he said to them. When you kill one of your sheep or cattle for a sacrifice, you must give the priest these parts: the shoulder, both cheeks, and the stomach. You must give. Now, the shoulder is fine, but cheek, meat, and stomach. You must give the priest the first part of your harvest. You must give them the first part of your grain, your new wine, and your oil. You must give the Levites the first wool cut from your sheep. This is because the Lord your God looked at all your tribes and chose Levi and his descendants to serve him as priests forever. And of course, your brother was the high priest. Any Levite living in any town anywhere in Israel may leave his home. Of course, that's your tribe. Come to the Lord's special place. He may do this anytime he wants. And this Levite may serve in the name of the Lord his God, the same as all his brother Levites who are on duty before the Lord. And that Levite will get an equal share with other Levites in addition to the share his family normally gets. I see why Jesus brought reforms. Jesus is from the tribe from Melchizedek, order Melchizedek. Put an end to this. Israel must not live like other nations. When you come into the land that the Lord your God has given you, don't learn to do the terrible things the people of the other nations do. Don't sacrifice your sons or daughters in fires on your altars. That's terrible. Don't try to learn what will happen on the future by talking to a fortune teller, or by going to a magician, a witch, or a sorcerer. Don't let anyone try to put magic spells on other people. Don't let any of your people become a medium or a wizard. And no one should try to talk with someone who has died. The Lord hates anyone who does these things. And because these other nations do these terrible things, the Lord your God will force them out of the land as you enter it. You must be faithful to the Lord your God, never doing anything he considers wrong. The Lord's special prophet. You will force other nations out of your land. They listen to people who use magic and try to tell the future. But the Lord your God will not let you do these things. The Lord your God will send you a prophet. This prophet will come from among your own people, and he will be like me. You must listen to him. God will send you this prophet because that is what you asked him to do. When you gathered together at Mount Horeb, you became frightened and said, don't let us hear the voice of the Lord our God again. Don't let us see that great fire, we will die. The Lord said to me, what they asked for is good. I will send them a prophet like you. This prophet will be one of their own people. I will tell him what he must say. He will tell people everything I command. This prophet will speak for me, and I will punish anyone who refuses to listen to my commands. How to know false prophets. But a prophet might say something that I did not tell him to say, and he might tell people that he's speaking for me. If this happens, that prophet must be killed. Also, a prophet might come that speaks for other gods. That prophet must be killed. You might be thinking, how can we know if something a prophet says is not from the Lord? If a prophet says he's speaking for the Lord, but what he says does not happen, you will know that the Lord did not say it. You will know that that prophet is speaking his own ideas. You don't need to be afraid of him. This is the word of the Lord. Please place those words in the comment section and be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and encourage others to join us every morning as we read the